Hey traders, this is Ron Haydat, Market Tamer. Happy Sunday. Hope you're having a fantastic weekend. As always, nothing in this presentation shall constitute a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Trading stocks and options involves risk, and specific financial issues should always be addressed by your financial advisor. We'll kick off here with the Qs. We're keeping an eye on them this past week as they came down to the 50-day moving average in orange, which is an institutional moving average. And we could see volume was picking up. And what ended up happening? We went right back up. We held the 50-day, so the bulls remain in control of the NASDAQ. Here's the IWM, the Russell 2000. We talked about this double top in June and July. We started coming down, broke the 50-day on the 30th. Volume was starting to pick up, but what's happened? We've actually bounced a little bit. So what I would do here with the IWM is I'd start to box it and say, let's keep an eye on this area now. We have double, triple, quad tops, whatever you want to call it. There was a bunch of attempts up there towards 170, but we're also holding, some of these lows. So neutral, sideways, short term on the IWM, but the longer term is still up. How about the mid caps, the MDY? They're also sort of range bound. I could come in here, pretty much draw that, just like you see it. We had a nice little move Thursday, continuation Friday, but until we break out to new all-time highs, something above that 365 area on a closing basis, we're just neutral over the 2-3 month period right now. Now, how about the DIA? The diamonds did hold their 20-day exponential moving average in red this past week. In fact, on Thursday we tested it, Friday we bounced up. So the Dow is trying via the diamonds to get out of this trading range, and you could argue it just did a little bit on Friday. So let me change this actually to a 1-year chart, and I'll show you what I mean. So there's the high from January. We're flirting with the top side of this old trading range, but if you go into June, you can see how we're pushing up. I would give the bulls the overall edge here too. And here's the SPY, which I have a long-term bullish position in. There's the January highs, and guess what? We are flirting with them again. So the SPYs here look bullish, and you put all of it together, as we head into the heart of August, into the dead of summer, the bulls have the edge, not the bears. So let's go take a look at some individual stocks here. We'll take a look at some of the FANG stocks. They've been in the news. Apple had earnings, jumped up above $200. Then we're up above 207. Now we're almost at 208. This is the first trillion-dollar company. This stock remains bullish. Volume is big. And if you think back to some of those reportedly negative channel checks people were doing, it was almost if did they have any idea what they were talking about, because you almost have to call that fake news. I don't know if someone had a bias, an opinion, was it self-serving, they just hate Apple, I don't know. But when you have someone like Buffett walking in to buy the stock, he's usually not the type of person or investor that's going to pick up a stock for 6 to 12 months. He's going to hold it typically longer than that. And when he picked up some shares before and then again, he's doing very, very, very well in Apple right now. Here's Facebook. I said to you guys, watch 170 for support. That's going to be the gap up from April. It's been held. We're basically right on the 5-day. But here's the thing. If we can get above the 200-day moving average right there in purple, which is about 170, it's 170, where are we at here? 181, sorry. We get about 181. We closed at 177.78 on Friday. So above 181, we're then into this gap, and that would be the target. Doesn't mean we're going to get there. We could use Fibonacci retracements and things like that, but simple technical analysis is once you get into the gap upside, where you gap down from, that's the technical target, and that could be potentially huge. So we'll keep an eye here on Facebook. I'm not seeing a lot of big volume come in. Volume's actually declining across the board, up and down days right now. So we'll keep an eye on it. Here is Netflix. After being unable to get through that 425 area, if I come in here, we can now draw a channel, something like this, just for visual purposes. And I'll get rid of that. Lows, highs, lows, highs. And what are they doing? We're getting lower highs, we're getting lower lows. The target remains the 200-day moving average, which right now is ballpark around the 286 area. Now, Google and Baidu were in the news this past week. Google getting its foot in the door in China, though it would be censored. And Baidu was down, Google was up, and then Google actually had bearish engulfing after earnings. but it's holding the 20-day. There is nothing wrong with this. So as long as it stays above the red line, the bulls get the edge there. And check out the staple ETF, the XLP. The high from back in January is right around 58. That's the target. I mean, once we got above the 200-day, around 53.5, we're now up here. There's no real resistance all the way up there at 58. So maybe 8% higher there. And then EWZ, which is the Brazilian ETF, we got a cup and handle going on in here. Here's the cup. There's a little giddy up for the handle. And if I zoom in, sure, the 200-day is there, but the real target is all the way up towards 45-ish. That could be 20% plus higher now on EWZ. I would personally maybe like the 20-day EMA if I was going to trade this as a nice end-of-day trailing stop, because if you look to the Brazilian ETF, once we got below the red line, sure, there were one or two little pops above it back in April, but then it stayed below it. And now, once we got above it, we're staying above it. That's why I like that 20-day EMA. So that's it. When I'm back with you this week on Monday, etc., we'll have some individual stocks we'll keep an eye on. Again, if you have any questions or comments, you can make it to the YouTube video or just send an email to cs@markettamer.com. So wish you guys a fantastic week ahead. See you next time.